People are getting sick and dying. And we want the ADEQ not just to give us a little speech today, but actually to maybe perhaps speak out against it if you know it's going on. And
Alright guys, welcome in. I can't find my own stream. Oh man, this is getting ridiculous. So I can't figure out how to get to my dashboard because it's not working. There's tons of people in the dashboard on a different area and they're not with us. I think I just posted the right link for them. Looks like some other people posted the link. There's tons of people in the wrong chat because I don't even know where it's streaming through. So let me go see if I can find it. I'm trying to get into maybe the live control room. Is that working? Well, there it is, live now. We're missing about half the people in the room. So I think I'm actually at the control room. So surprisingly, it has the right title. And all right, here we go. We're gonna jump into this. Okay, we're probably good. And thanks everybody out there for being patient out there. Everybody watching on D Live and Twitch and Periscope and Facebook and all the places they let us float. The Float app. And it looks like it's not streaming to the Mike and Shelley page, but it is streaming to the Above Ground page, so we're all good to go here. So I guess we'll jump right in. If you missed yesterday, check out this flight path over New Mexico. And what we're seeing we'll go into today, we're going to hit these maps here in a little bit real hard, but it looks like they're setting up for a big system all the way from the south going up into the northeast. You can just see they're targeting two major areas. So they're going to try to pull these two atmospheric rivers, one from the south up in the northeast, and they're going to converge all these. So we got two scenarios that could be happening on the east coast. We'll get into all this here in a little bit. Let's hit a couple articles. An impressive deep cyclone develops over the North Atlantic, leads into a powerful windstorm towards Western Europe this weekend. So they're just now warning them about the wind and the waves. They gave them 1 day warning when we've been talking about it for days. The other thing that they're not talking about is there's a bunch of ships out here right off the coast dropping the bunker fuels. See if I can find it again. Oh, I can already see them. So we got a big billowing out bunker fuel. I mean, there's several right here. Here's a couple that stand out really good without the enhancement. See, these aren't chemtrails. These are coming from the ships. And I'm going to get pretty heavy into the bunker fuel operations. Here's another one right here. We can put on the, let's see what they look like with the enhancement. You know, if you don't know what you're looking at, this looks like a scribbly mess, but I mean, I can see them real good. Longtime listeners know what I'm showing here. Yeah, we can see them. They're actually all over out here. And we see these before every major event, every weather event, every big, cyclone, hurricane type scenario. They deploy bunker fuel. Yesterday we seen bunker fuel over Lake Superior, and I actually found a big monster bunker fuel operation over Lake Superior in 2017. You can see, these boats are really booking, man. So, yeah, they're deploying this stuff. We're going to get really heavy into this stuff here in a little bit. We're going to talk about what's in these bunker fuels. And just to put it into perspective, one ship that is burning the bunker fuel, actually 13 ships, put out more toxic emissions than every single vehicle on the planet. So it's just insane amount of toxic stuff that they're dumping out there into our air. And then we got the madmen scientists out here in China. Scientists create monkey pigs by adding primate cells to the pig embryos. Now, already this year, they've, man, how'd I get rid of the stupid ad? There we go. So already this year, they've already implanted monkey brains in pigs, and then human brains in monkeys. They're doing all kinds of crazy stuff out here. When I did a Google search on this stuff, man, the pictures I come across were just ridiculous, man. This is some weird stuff that they're doing, and this is gonna never turn into something good. So they're combining one animal with another animal, almost always ends badly. Scientists in China are not trying, they aren't trying to create mutant monsters, but they are. But they did successfully create baby pigs with monkey cells. A new scientist report, a team of researchers from the State Key Laboratory of Stem Cell and Reproductive Biology in Beijing set out to creating the first pig monkey chimeras. The chimera, however you pronounce it, is an organism that includes living cells of different type of genotypes. So the researchers added monkey cells to pig embryos, allowed the mature female pigs to carry out those embryos to term, and then observe the resulting piglets. They used over 4,000 embryos, which were implanted in the sows of thousands of embryos. Just 10 of them resulted in a pregnancy. And this is just mad scientist stuff going on. There's several articles that just come out. Look at the pictures, man. It's just disgusting what they're doing. They're saying these pigs, look normal, but man, if you just go Google monkey pigs, and you're going to see some of the most horrific animal things going on, where they're doing the mad scientist stuff. And don't forget last year, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, human pig hybrid created in the lab. Scientists hope the chimera embryos represent key steps toward life-saving lab-grown organs. This really probably has nothing to do with growing organs. This has everything to do with these psychopaths trying to live forever. They're trying to implant their brains into computers, and they want to live forever. That's what they do. They pump baby blood in their blood. They go in for blood transfusions, and they buy blood, and they have blood of the young fed into their veins. This is just all satanic, crazy stuff. So scientists announced today they have created the first successful human-animal hybrid. The project proves that human cells can be introduced into non-human organisms, survive, and even grow inside a host animal. The biomedical advance has long been a dream and quandary for scientists, hoping to address a critical shortage of donor organs, man. There ain't no shortage, man. They harvest organs all over the world. You wonder why there's missing people? That's part of the reason. And they will burn for this. So if anybody heard a huge explosion in the skies of Ohio, the 180 fighter wing breaks the sound barrier following functional flight check. Anybody out there in Ohio, did you hear the sonic boom going over your skies? I heard one a couple years ago, and it was pretty crazy because it was on my boat, and it sounded like thunder, but it went on for like 2-3 minutes, and I'm like freaking out thinking the world's ending. Go flying into the boat dock, and there's like not a soul around. It was like I was the last person on earth, and here comes my crazy neighbor on a mini bike. The only person, out there. It's just freaky, man. It'll freak you out if you don't know what it is.
We're out on Toledo streets today carrying out a tradition.
Stupid mainstream, man. All right, December's full cold moon to usher in cold temperatures, extra hours of darkness. Now they're going to blame the moon on making it colder. So Los Angeles, the last full moon of the year and decade, is set to peak on Thursday, December 12th. The full cold moon, or the long night's moon, will have a high trajectory across the sky and sit above the horizon for longer than usual. Hence the names of the event. I want to read a little weird stuff about this. So this year's the full moon will occur before the winter solstice takes place on Saturday, December 21st. But you can expect the night to be long and cold. December's full moon is also sometimes referred to as the moon before Yule. So the return of the sun after the year's longest night. And if you're into numerology, the number 12 is often associated with completion and harmony, which sounds like the perfect way to close the curtain. They're going to close the curtain on the last 10 years. If you watch the Ivanka Trump, and there was a video where she was walking through the White House with all the Christmas trees, and there was this whole room of blood red Christmas trees. I mean, it was freaky. You're getting red everything, red flag laws. Hang up a red flag, if you're needing to get the vaccination. I mean, just some weird stuff going on. Signs of the times. Then we got the core racing against the start of ice conditions. Like I said, we're still flooded here in Missouri from last March. And the Missouri River and the deep freeze may lie just ahead, so the Army Corps is racing against the clock to move remaining flood storage before the river ice forms. South Dakota and Nebraska are bracing for the anticipated arrival of a cold front. By late this weekend, temperatures could plunge into the single digits and even sub-zero readings. So right now they're releasing the water at 80,000 cubic feet per second. And normally, at this time they're running, I think it's around 57, it was less than that. Yeah, 12,000 to 17,000 is like the standard. So, I mean, it's really flying. And then that's kind of what happened last year before they completely modified the weather and overseeded the storms. That's what happened to ice. The ice froze up at the dam, and they used dynamite to blow the ice apart. Then it broke the dam. Then it broke the next dam, and that started all the flooding. And then they just continued to bombard us with tons of rainstorms, steering the atmospheric river. Now, when I first looked at this little article popped out, I don't know where I got this thing. I could have swore I seen Obama was going to buy these lakefronts, but this is actually in Hawaii. The satellite image from Google Maps, 3 houses with building permits valued at more than $5 million are planned for the oceanfront estate owned by former President Obama. And it was also owned by Tom Selleck of Magna PI. And this is, I guess, for his friends or his friends. But I was just, if it was him, I was going to be like, I thought the sea levels were rising. You're going to build on the ocean. I thought the seas were rising. So there's an emergency appeal to the world's governments by scientists, doctors, environmental organizations, and others to stop the 5G. The 5G is basically, it come from a weapon, man. I mean, it was the active denial technology. It's a non-lethal weapons program. I mean, that's what 5G is. Active denial research uses radio frequency millimeter waves at a frequency of 95 gigahertz, traveling at the speed of light. The millimeter wave directed energy engages the subject, penetrating the skin to a depth of about 1/64th of an inch, or the equivalent of 3 sheets of paper. The beam produces an intolerable heating sensation. The sensation immediately ceases when the individual moves out of the beam or when the operator turns off the beam. They say there is minimal risk of injury due to the shallow energy penetration. That's just at the 95 gigahertz. You don't think they'll have ways to turn the frequencies up and down? Think again. This is just going to be a way to control the masses. So a bunch of news coming out in Australia over the last, couple years. This one's just a few months old, talking about the cloud seeding. Cloud seeding is the practice of injecting certain materials into convective clouds with the aim of encouraging or enhancing the prospects of rain. Today, around 60 countries on 5 continents are operating cloud seeding operations to enhance rainfall, mainly for dams and agriculture. Initial research in weather modification began late in the 1940s, Operation Popeye. And I got all these links are in the description. Well, they're actually in the very first one that I made up. Yep, there's no links in the description. I'll have to put them in later because YouTube made it go to the wrong stream. Cloud seeding simulates rainfall. What is it? How does it work? I'm not going to get into all this. A cloud seeding plane in Tasmania carrying silver iodide in a canister back in 2016. You also had the ground-based burners used to cloud seed over the snowy mountains. So they're essentially a big propane flame. And the reason why I'm getting into this is because there's an article that came out Tuesday, the 19th of November. Cloud seeding is not an option for drought-ravaged Australia. When torrential rains flooded downtown Dubai earlier this month, the United Arab Emirates' zealous embrace of cloud seeding was blamed by some. So if cloud seeding can cause a desert to flood, why can't Australia use the technology to break the drought? In a video above, Sydney faces prospect of level 2 water restrictions in the worst droughts on record. And they say the answer is surprisingly simple. For cloud seeding to produce rain, you need moisture to begin with and a cloud. Australia at present is in short supply of both. And I can bust this wide apart right now. See, they're saying standard seeding only works with a few limited spots in Australia. Here, let me play a clip of this year's 2019 U.S. Department of Agriculture little meeting. I'm just going to play a little clip of this. Actually, I got 2 clips for you. I'll probably play the wrong one, but we'll try here.
I'm patented by Dr. James Carlton, who was an USDA research engineer like myself. So here are the major components of the system. And we've done a lot of work actually initially in the wind tunnel. 2 years ago we started
All right, it
looking
started
at
in
how
the
it
wrong
might
spot.
enhance rainfall in the wind tunnel. And then from there we went on and did.
Let me try to start it over. It didn't start from the beginning. It's real short, this part.
All right, so my name is Dr. Dan Martin. I'm a research engineer with USDA ARS, Agricultural Research Service in College Station, Texas. I've been doing aerial application technology research and extension for the last 25 years, 10 years at LSU and 15 years with USDA. So back in 1999, the USDA patented a new technology at that time for an aerial electrostatic spraying application system. So this system has been in place for the last 20-some years. Worked very well for production agriculture. It was just 2 years ago that we looked at using this type of technology to enhance rainfall. And so this is the system that we use right here. This is an electrostatic nozzle that was patented by USDA back 20 years ago. And what it does is it charges the spray droplets as they exit the nozzle. Okay, and so, yeah, so it's just a little bit of a close-up there of the different.
So they're using electrostatic nozzles for the last 20 years to enhance rain. Now let me play one more clip from that very meeting. I'll play just a couple minutes of it, and you'll get the idea of what I'm talking about. And this is from the 2019 committee meeting in Texas. Thanks out there, Nelly.
We've had a lot of cases where we were seeding storms that had no business being seeded. We were just kind of throwing darts, and we were seeing responses in some of those. So we are learning that maybe there's more opportunity with some of these. Maybe we don't even need to have a rain cloud. We could go work cumulocongestus clouds that aren't really precipitating yet, and if it has inflow, maybe we could get something to work. Year one, we had the air tractor that the USDA provided, so dosaging was a lot better. We were getting about 40 to 45 gallons per cloud. That aircraft wasn't available in year two, so we took one of our Comanches and converted it.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm George Bomar, Weather Modification Program Specialist in the Office of Innovation and Project Management. Since our last meeting in November, we have had completed the radar-derived assessment of cloud seeding operations done in Texas during 2018. That study is done on an annual basis by Dr. Ruiz out of Texas Tech University. That report just arrived, so it's not loaded on your desktop computer, but I did make a paper copy for you, and I'd like to just point out a number of features of that annual evaluation report. 5 of the cloud seeding projects that are conducted for rain enhancement purposes, 4 of those are included in this assessment. The projects based in White Deer, San Angelo, Pecos, and Pleasanton. In 2018, there were a total of 262 clouds seeded. On 87 distinct days, we had at least one aircraft in the air seeding in order to enhance the output from young thunderstorms. And I'm going to just refer to a few really significant numbers that are in this report and compare them with the long-term average. Dr. Ruiz has been doing this assessment for a number of years, and as you know, his evaluation is based upon looking at systems, cloud cells, that are seeded and comparing them with the behavior of adjacent convective cells that are not seeded. So it's a target versus control area comparison. And when you do this over a number of years, you pretty much establish what's normal, and you can then identify what appears to be abnormal. Last year, the season didn't last as long as the typical season of 160 days. The start was later than usual, May 2nd, and the last day of operations was in September on the 19th. As we know from year to year, Mother Nature throws us a different hand, and there just wasn't any seedable convection early in the storm season of 2018.
Well, I don't want to play a whole bunch of this, but he goes in and talks about how many exact clouds that they seeded. They also talk about how they seeded thunderstorms that were already thunderstorm warrants, so they shouldn't have been seeding them, but they did it anyway. They talk about how every rainstorm that they seed produces 35 to 45% more rain than it should have. Now I'm over here. This is where you find the video. I have a backup channel where I got the video cut down to about an hour long. But this is the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulations. And if you just scroll down all the way down to the June 6th meeting, the June 6th meeting of Weather Modification Advisory Committee. It's an hour and 35 minutes long, or you can go over to the backup channel and find it there where it's cut down to about an hour. But this just goes to show you that they're doing it and they're open. Like you just got to do a little digging, man. They don't tell really the public about it. But yeah, I see a lot of this, here coming out of Australia saying they can't modify the clouds because they don't have enough clouds. That I call BS, man. They're making clouds with the bunker fuels. They can also steer the atmospheric rivers. I'm not going to get into that technology tonight. Actually, that one article did talk about the United Arab Emirates steering the weather. But anyway, here we go. Here's a weird 21st century. This is an article wrote by a couple guys here. Michael Malitio, I don't know who these guys are. Amar Shah, I can't even remember. I think Alex sent me this, I'm not sure. But it's like a futuristic, I don't even know what to call it, but a futuristic version of the cloud seeding operations of the 21st century. And I'm not going to read it all, but some of these photos are pretty crazy, man. These are like let me try to zoom in on this. This is like the Cloud Cedar Tower. You can see it's almost like stack and pack homes way up in the air. I mean, this is supposed to be California, the future of California right here. And these are the Cloud Cedars, the Cloud Towers, the new California, the Nomad. Dry, cracked lips, parched throat, eyelids caked with dirt and dust. A blindly bright and hazy sky brought a smoldering and suffocating heat. Sunlight beat down with an angry vengeance on a pale, scorched landscape. A lone figure in ragged fatigues raised his head to the torch heavens, opened his mouth wide, a swollen tongue tasting the arid still air. A normal day in New California. But the man knew better. A scant trace of moisture, ever so faint, hung upon the air, a stillness before the storm. The nomad tore his eyes from the sky and focused on the horizon before him with new conviction. He re-shouldered the reins of his rusty cart, shuffled down the path over a scarred earth and broken rock. It was almost time. A scratchy voice interrupted the nomad's plotting. The radio on the cart had been blaring a repeated broadcast over the airways for the past 12 hours. A scheduled scattering in the nearby hills right here in the northwest province. The nomad thought he once had been able to recall the names of all the provinces in the District of New California, but now they're all blurred together in his mind like shifting dunes in the desert. It was far away. He estimated nearly 2 miles. But there were no other options from his cohorts. His camp had got desperate and tried to orchestrate a water raid on a delivery caravan earlier this week, but it had not gone well. An hour later, as the nomad crested the last dune, he gazed down upon a ruined cityscape, sand-blasted buildings half buried in the ground, structures bent and broken, towers had long passed offices, city halls, schools, hospitals. Once echoing a thriving city, now an eternal waste sucked dry by the very earth it stood upon. The nomad noticed something else. Hundreds of tiny figures ringed the outskirts of the basin. A quiet, thirsty horde of thick, sticky tension rose through the air. A low murmur of thunder rolled across the sky overhead. The clouds parted. The northeast cloud pylon, the water warden. I mean, this is just some freaky stuff. I got the link down in the description if you want to read the whole thing. The cloud seeder module and the engineer. This is a pretty freaky thing, man. This is like the 21st century. This will be what it'll be like. And guess, look, Paradise Lost. Level 98 Concourse Market, the Cloud Farmer. You know, this is what it's going to be like in this guy's view after they destroy everything with what they're doing right now. So, and this was wrote back like in 2016, or maybe it was before that. But yeah, pretty freaky, man. This is some freaky stuff. This guy had a vision. I mean, this is pretty detailed. You had the evaporation and desalination towers, the seeding towers, the nucleation towers, and the precipitation towers. Looks like FEMA camps all down at the bottom. So, you know, this is the way, this is like their vision, man. This is the way they vision the future, and it's all going to be the fault of the people that are trying to play God right now. So, yeah, 2016, March 31st. All right, let's get into some other things. So I want to get into some of the ship tracks since we're getting them all over the place. Sulfuric acid from aviation and ship tracks might be higher today than geoengineering solar radiation management would require in 2020. And I can't remember where I was wanting to go with this, but I got some other stuff here. Here's some evidence of the aerosol cloud interactions. Here's what the Nature's Way would look like, and then here's the ship tracks. I haven't played this, so let me see if this will play. It's a Jim Lee over there at Climate Viewer News. Oh, this is a real long one, so I'm not going to play that whole thing. I'm not going to play it here. You just go check Jim Lee out, man. He's got all this stuff already organized on different websites. Accidental geoengineering with ship tracks and contrails. Studies have found that ships have a net cooling effect on the planet, despite belching out nearly 1 billion tons of carbon dioxide each year. That's almost entirely because they also emit sulfur, which can scatter the sunlight into the atmosphere and form a thickened clouds that reflect it away. What they're not talking about is how it traps the heat in at night. There's nowhere for this heat that's trapped inside to escape. And like I show you all the time on the ship tracks, on the Earth null, how they leave a tracks. Like you can see these tracks on the Earth null because they're putting out so much sulfur and heavy metal particles. That's what's causing these storms to be more electrified. That's why we have more lightning. That's why more people and things are getting hit with lightning. It's because of this. It's because of all these particulates up in the air. You got sulfuric acid from the aviation and the ship tracks may be higher today than what we just talked about. So he's got some really good articles on this stuff. Go here. He's got all the links to everything you need to know. You know, and they keep saying they're going to slow the bunker fuel operations down, but they're using it before every major storm. I mean, we've been documenting it for years. What are ship tracks? If you go to Wikipedia, ship tracks are clouds that are formed around the exhaust released by ships into the still ocean air. Water molecules collect around the tiny particle, the aerosols, PM 2.5s, from the exhaust to form a cloud seed. More and more water accumulates until the seed is a visible cloud is formed. In the case of the ship tracks, the cloud seeds are stretched over a long, narrow path where the wind has blown the ship's exhaust, so resulting clouds resemble long strings over the ocean. Yeah, that's where I got that thumbnail right there. But we see them every night. And I even got a lot more stuff to talk about on this. Now, container ships use dirty, super dirty fuel that needs to change. Well, they've been talking about this for a long time. Heck, this was back in 2017. But what they're doing, they ease the regulations on this stuff because they say it's fighting the climate change. Now, I went and I looked at the Global Marine Fuels report. I wanted to find out how much they're paying for this bunker fuel stuff. Hey, thanks out there, Thorstein. Much love out there. So monitor key bunker fuel prices and related global shipping markets. I mean, a lot of people think I'm making these words up, man. Maritime organization require vessels to use lower sulfur bunkering fuel effective January 1st, 2020. So according to the Global Marine Fuels report, they're supposed to drop it down to 0.05% January 1st, 2020. So that means we should not be seeing bunker fuel ship tracks after January 1st. We're going to see. We're going to document it. We'll see if we can hold them to it. See, right here is saying, you know, implications for a fuel that doesn't exist yet. We'll see if they can, you know, they don't want to pay the price for actual fuel. This is like they're running these things off, you know, the leftovers of refining fuel. It's so thick and heavy, they have to heat it to get it to burn. So this is just, here's all the prices on it. And of course, America's, you know, has all their prices spiked way up. And like I showed you that little thumbnail earlier of the ship tracks that were being deployed. Oh man, I forgot that was up over the up here in Lake Superior. So we know that they're seeding, and I think I've already showed you the bunker fuel operations that just started today. You know, we got this big storm headed for Europe. In fact, let's go look at the wind maps on there and see what kind of waves we're looking at. So I want to put this on the ocean. You know, we've been giving a wave warning out for days now. So right now we're at 39.6 foot waves. I mean, this is a wind weapon right here, and it's headed for Ireland. 41.9, 42.2. Let's go up another day. We're talking 45 foot waves, 45.6. Now, we gave a wave warning out last year for Portugal, and it was, you know, 50 foot waves, 45 to 50 foot waves, and it was knocking the balconies off the second floor of the hotels. Look, we're getting up here to 47.7 foot waves. That's a big wave coming in on any coast. So yeah, 45 footers, man. That's nothing to joke about was put it on the wind maps. We're at the surface. Let's just scroll this up, see what it's going to look like according to the winds. And we know how the heck can these bunker fuel ships be out there in them kind of ways? What kind of ships are out there? They're out there in these monster waves, seeding the storm. It's a low-level seed. So, pretty crazy stuff. Let's go ahead and get back into if you weren't here earlier in the broadcast, we showed you, here's just one. I'll zoom in so you guys can see this real good. Takes out their 3mm4. You can see this billowing out flume of the most toxic emissions on the planet. Here's another one down here underneath the clouds. You got more over here. I mean, they're everywhere out here. And then you got aerosols from the sky too. You can see the airplanes are dropping the aerosols way up above. So you're getting a two-part mix. And it's all headed right for France, Ireland, the UK. So anyway, let's just start over on this side. Now, we had all the bunker fuel operations over here yesterday. They're not there. They must be refueling. I mean, they're not coming out into 3.7 microns. They just disappeared. Like, we could probably go back to yesterday. And if I remember right, they were over. No, they're right here. So they're all right in this side of the storm. Go back one more day. I'm just trying to remember where they were. Yeah, right here. So there was a mega bunker fuel operation here on the 5th, straight out from the Oregon-California line. Would go up here to the 6th, and they're up here like they're headed to the British Columbia. They're all like headed up here. Let's go up to today. And it's just like they disappeared. They quit burning the bunker fuel. So they're running on the premium fuel now. So they must be done with the weather modification stuff. And I got some other stuff to show you that somebody sent me. In fact, let me see if I can bring that up and just hang out here with me for a second while I try to find that. I mean, people send me stuff all the time. And it's hard to look at all this stuff. But they sent some very interesting stuff on, let me see if I can bring this over here. Some very interesting thumbnails here. And we've seen that funky toxic algae bloom out there off the coast of New Zealand the other day. Well, they had these ocean thermal energy conversions and other stuff, which I'm going to show you here. Let me get to it here. The floating tubes, deployment of thousands of these plastic tubes. They're 300 to 600 feet long and 30 feet in diameter. They're huge. So they're bridging the nutrient poor surface water and the colder nutrient rich surface water. They say this is for like trying to feed the fish. You know, you got these floating cloud seeders. These are basically the same thing that the bunker fuel ships are doing, but I think this is kind of a salination type deal. And then you got here's these artificial upwelling. You got iron fertilization. You know, they're showing the cloud seeding, and then also the space mirrors. I don't know why I can't zoom smaller, but yeah, they're showing the space mirrors, which the Pacific Gas and Energy also has space mirrors up in the satellites, and they're beaming down 200 gigawatts of power with these space mirrors. You can look that up on Wikipedia. Also, the Solarian company, that is PG&E. And another thing they were showing is the thermal was showing like super high, like there was a fire going, but there, I'm trying to determine if this fire was out and it was just hot, but they were thinking maybe some upwelling underneath. So I don't know, it's hard to say on that one. Yeah, here's what they're showing, these big tubes, these artificial upwelling tubes. So they're pumping the cooler water up, mixing it here, and they're saying it's for offshore fish farming. But anyway, good stuff sent to me there. All right, let's get back into the worldview map. And let me see if I can do the shout outs there on the super chat. Hey, thanks out there, chat. Like, I can't see the screen here. I missed somebody. Oh, Sandy, thanks out there. Much love. And everybody else that helps support us. All right, so let's go take a look at what is going on. Now that I'm looking at this, these might be some bunker fuel right there. I can't really tell. Check the layer. It's not loaded all the way. We'll know tomorrow. I'll check this back tomorrow. There could be bunker fuel that's just not showing up. We definitely have aerosols being deployed. People are asking why I don't show Canada. I don't show Canada a whole lot because right now it's dark up here. Like, we won't be able to see all of Alaska or all of Canada or any of these parts in the the North Territory, because it's not daylight. It's dark for the next, however many days. They're not getting the sun. The Earth's tilt is keeping it dark up there. So, we can see parts of it, but, it's really hard to spot the aerosols unless there's an opening and we can see the spraying. But I do show it when I see it up here. We catch it on the Ghost 16 all the time. So just like Washington, Oregon, pretty cloud cover, so it's kind of hard to find the aerosols. The big aerosol spraying operations is right where they're steering the atmospheric river, all the way from down south below Hawaii, all the way up. You got to really zoom in on here, and you can see the synthetic cloud color, and then you can see the aircraft. Sometimes, when the satellite comes through, like there's some really light ones. I don't even know if you guys will be able to see them. Then you always got to check the different layers and to pull them out. Like, here's where we can pull them out. This is going to show them a lot better. So you can see they were dropping heavy aerosols here over the Baja, California, over the Bajas. Tons of drops in aerosols. And this is a big operation. It goes all the way from south below Hawaii, all the way up in California, all the way up into Utah. Big, I don't even know how many planes could be out here, planes and drones that are out here that are dumping these things. You guys got them going over Sonora. But what I'm going to focus on here the next couple of days is this spraying operation that goes all the way from Kansas all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico and then up into the East Coast. And then there's a secondary big time spraying operation over West Virginia. So these guys are going to be the target here in a couple days. You can see they're gridding a certain area, the only area out here. Look, this is the only area they're spraying. That's a target zone right there in West Virginia. Look, you click that layer. Look at the size of these dumps that they're deploying over West Virginia. All over West Virginia, going all the way over Washington, D.C., Maryland. Philadelphia is getting waxed. New Jersey is getting waxed. Delaware is getting waxed. You can see they're shutting them off and on. So total control of the aerosols. And we just head down south a little bit. And we have aerosols being deployed in this zone to pull the moisture east. So it looks like they're going to pull the moisture east and then up north. Here we are off the coast of Georgia and Florida. We see massive spraying, targeted sprays, certain exact areas, because that's, you know, part of the steering mechanisms that they're using. Now, they've been spraying over here in Texas for days. They still are. So to me, it looks like they're trying to merge, you know, several of these systems. I think yesterday Oklahoma just got bombarded. They're still getting hit. Not as bad today. Look, we can go back to yesterday. Look how bad they were hit yesterday. I mean, they were smacked down. I know there's a layer that's going to show the complete whiteout of Oklahoma. Trying to find the right layer. So it also goes up into Texas. And then remember yesterday we caught these crazy patterns. I mean, this is pretty blatant right here. And I can't see what you guys are seeing, so I'm not sure if that's coming in good for you. So this guy was flying. He, you know, did a bunch of wacky turns. I mean, this is all aerosols, man. This guy was, you know, this is a targeted spray doing loop-de-loops. I mean, these are big loop-de-loops here. You can see the shadows on the ground. So these chemtrails were so thick, they're leaving major shadows on the ground. So that was yesterday's aerosols. Now here we are today, same area. See, they're going to keep spraying these same areas, and then all this stuff is going to merge right here down in the south, and it's going to all go up. It's going to go up towards Washington, and you're going to have a weather system in like 2 days. In the next 48 hours, there's going to be a storm system over West Virginia, over up the Northeast, and maybe, you know, even down here as far as Florida. So this whole thing could be just a rain mess. We'll find out tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 16-day forecast. Big spraying operation over Iowa. This is the northern part of the system. They're going to merge it from the north, from the west, and then from the south. So all three of these are going to combine right here with all the particulates and create a mess. Just kind of look around. You know, it's pretty wild. I haven't seen no bunker fuel out here off of Chile in a while. We got these storms wreaking havoc on Madagascar. It's actually starting to look like a typhoon now. I mean, these are like miniature storms, man. This was a super powerful Category 4. And it's real little, man. It's like so little, it's not even funny. Like Dorian was a really little hurricane. So, you know, you still have 4. The Horn of Africa is probably just, there's probably so many people dying right now from the floods. In fact, we could try to check the radar down here if I can find radar for it. Let me just see if there's any other new operation. You've had this big aerosol deployment over the desert for, you know, over a week now in the same areas. They don't stand out as good over the desert, but you can see them definitely once you get up here to the Mediterranean. They stand out real good. And like these guys are getting ready to get hammered. I already showed you all the bunker fuel ships, and you know, here they are. Here's another one. Then you got the aerosols up high altitude spraying. I'm just kind of looking at it. You know, the United Arab Emirates, they could have took these typhoons out, but apparently they didn't want to. Looks like some pretty good storms going over here by Malaysia, and yeah, all over Malaysia. Looks like they're getting pummeled. But then we got the issues down here in Australia. We have the mega fires. You know, just a week or two ago, there was tons of bunker fuel ships down off the coast. I'm not seeing them today, but that don't mean they're not there. But aerosols and fires. What do these fires have in common with the fires on the west coast, like Paradise Fire? You have aerosols with these fires. I mean, look at Sydney's burning, Newcastle. I mean, it's all headed right towards major cities. And as we can see, we just pan out right over here. What are they doing? They're laying heavy-duty aerosols that's going to drift right into the fire zone. You know, they're spraying ahead of the fire so that it will drift down and then fall down. It's like thermite being deployed out here. Mass spraying operations. You know, this isn't the fire smoke. This is the aerosols. Now here's the fire smoke, man. It's just going. This has been burning for months, man. It just gets worse by the day. I mean, this is a inferno out here. Look at that whole coast. So let's measure how much of this coast is burning. So you got at least, well, I didn't even go down far enough. So you at least have 1,800 mile, or wait, here, let me clear that. Let me try that again. We start out here for the southern fires, and I'm just doing the big main ones here. So you got roughly 1,000-mile fire. So let's just look, if California was burning, how far is 1,000 miles on California? We'll just start out here and see where 1,000 mile comes out, just so you can see the scope of what's going on. So it'd be almost the whole distance of California on fire all at the same time. So pray for the people down here. They're getting smoked out, burnt up. Properties are being destroyed. Land's going to be grabbed. This is all the New World Order plan down here too. We're just seeing it. China's taking over Australia. I mean, this is just crazy burns. Look at that. I mean, it's horrible down here. There's going to be no forests left. Some of these fires are starting to create their own weather. The rainforest of Australia are completely burning down. And when you see smoke like this, you got to wonder the health hazards from the air quality. You got to wonder about the groundwater, all the ash floating down. I mean, look at these. These are like a grid. These fires are all in a grid. Perfect grid. And then New Zealand, man, they're getting all the leftover smoke. They're getting aerosol all the time. Weird stuff going on in the waters out here. Like weird stuff. We had like a vortex of algae bloom down here. All right, let's go ahead and go check the some of the radar stuff. Let's just show you some of the blatant aerosols being deployed, then we'll get into some of the other stuff. I'm sure this is going to be pretty visible tonight. Turn on the enhancement. It'll kind of take this a little bit to load, then I'll zoom in on a couple of the really bad spots. While that is loading, I want to get the RAM slider loaded also. In fact, this one could actually tell me if there was bunker fuel being deployed out here. Let me just see. I don't need it to load very many frames just to see. Really, I just need to look at the nighttime imagery. Yeah, it's almost like they're just gone unless they're underneath that cloud deck. I don't know if we can pick them up. Well, yeah, we got the new dish. I was wondering if we could pick up them operations out there, which we might be able to because we got 2 new satellites. We got this one here is the one I use for the fires down in Australia. Like we get some crazy clear aerials with this map, but it just takes forever to load. So the wind actually changed directions, it looks like. All right, we'll let that load while we're checking this. So that, where was that heavy operation? Was up here. Let me stop that. Yeah, so right off the bat, you see a major spraying operation over West Virginia, New York, or Pennsylvania. Major operation over Georgia, Florida. Major over Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi. Parts of Kansas, parts of Colorado. Major over California, Southern California, New Mexico, Arizona. Let's jump in. Let's go down a little bit so we can see the extent of this kind of close up. So yeah, look at the X's. X's for everybody. I mean, they were really targeting the backside of that, like, intensely. So yeah, they were just hammering all them areas right there. So that's just, look, it just kept coming in waves. Whole another wave, then another wave. So that's what I'm telling you, man. They're setting for some storms that head up this way, which goes south. Let's try it right there. I know it was worse off the coast of Florida, but just want to take a quick look at this. So yeah, here's where the real heavy spraying was. But then you also have it over Louisiana, Arkansas, Texas. I mean, just blasting everybody. Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, complete bombardment going all the way up into Colorado, Kansas. I do want to go check for hot spots off the coast of Oregon because we've been finding them every once in a while here. Well, there you go. There's a job for you. Focus on the solutions. I'm just focusing on bringing awareness. I can't do it all. Needs to be a lot of people helping. Can't have, one person, 20 people trying to do something. It takes a fleet of people worldwide. All right, so what was I going to look at? Oh, the fire color. So I just want to see if there's any hot spots popping up. Oh, I didn't click it. Yeah, that's for sure, man. It's definitely... What is going on? Did I not click the right thing? Oh, I had the enhancer still on. This might be like really hard to see the whole... I should have probably just went on the West Coast. Wow, look at the fog, or what is that, fog right there? That's pretty crazy. Let me get up on the west. Did it not take me to the west? Yeah, we all need to be growing window gardens. Need to be building some greenhouses. Something to battle the food shortages that are going to be coming up from all this weather warfare. They're going to call all this stuff from global warming. They're going to say it's a climate crisis. They're going to say it's a climate catastrophe when they're the ones that are actually doing it. They're using the grand solar minimum to their advantage. And then, all hell's going to break loose all at once. All right, so I'm really not seeing any hot spots or nothing like that. Let's go to the RAM slider, see if it's loaded anything yet. Yeah, this thing just takes so long to load. I mean, you're talking some mega, information with these. This is so clear footage and stuff. Usually if I zoom way out, it works real fast. And if I see something, I can zoom in on it quicker or better. Oh, you know what? We forgot to look at the tropical cyclone page. But what I want to look, I'm going to see at these other satellites. I can see where they go here. Oh, wow. So we got a good view of the typhoon now. See, they've added 2 new satellites. Now, can I put this on? All right, while that is loading, let me try to get let's see what these typhoons are doing. So, and Bali it's now just tropical storm. Then we got Cyclone Belna. So it did turn into a cyclone. Getting ready to hammer Madagascar. Let me put this into so you guys can see it. And we'll check it out. Holy crap, now it's going to be a category 3. It was supposed to be a category 1. It's doing the same thing, the one that just hit the Philippines. It wasn't supposed to be nothing, and now it's a category 3, man. The wind models, the water temperatures, nothing should make this a category 3. Look at the IR and see if they're pulsing the system. Take the tracks off, try to animate this thing. Look at that. Does that look like a spinning category 3 hurricane or typhoon? No. It looks like a pulse weapon. In fact, when we looked at it yesterday, it looked like a tall, like a cylinder of clouds. So this is today. I mean, for one thing, it's not the right size. And that's right in the way. But it's almost like it looks like a tube, super tall. I mean, if you take from this edge of the cloud all the way down the water, we're talking super high cloud tops. No eye wall in there. Really no spinning, no classic S looking thing to make it look like a typhoon or a cyclone or a hurricane. It don't have that signature. It's not a normal typhoon. Look at this thing, it's pulsing, it's being pulsed. This is a pulsing weapon. Let's check it out on the visible. Of course not. They don't want us to see it, so they're not going to show us on that. That's because we caught all the frequency waves in the last one. See how it did have an eye wall, and now it's like going through an eye wall replacement, rapid development, but it don't have the spin. This is a creation. Check it out. Oh yeah, that water vapor shows it exploding up. See, that's being exploded up to try to get the spin. Complete explosion right there. It almost looks like a funnel where the eye wall was, and it don't even have an eye wall right now. So it's just more evidence that they're superheating the storm, trying to create spin. Look at that. The eye wall just disintegrates, and now it's rapidly intensifying. So I guess it wasn't strong enough, so they decided to hit it with some more microwaves and make it grow even bigger. Now it's going to probably start spinning big time. Complete cooking that thing. We'll see it on the Mimic. See if it'll give us the last 24 hours or 48 hours. So here it comes. Doesn't really have there now. It's getting the signature of a typhoon. Then what happens? It's stopped. The eye wall disintegrates. So here it is. Doesn't look anything like a typhoon. Gets close to this little island. Kind of shifts. Now it's starting to get the coma looking. Now it's, looks like a hurricane or a typhoon, but then something happens again. It shifts again. So now it's like rapidly intensifying. See if I can keep going back. All right, so this, let me look at the winds here. So here's the winds. So that's weird. Yeah, so now they're wanting this, they're saying it's going to be a category 3. It's going to hit Madagascar at a category 2. Let's check out the sea level pressure. So we're hitting some pretty damn low pressures here. So nothing like the track showed yesterday. Shouldn't have been any kind of a... Let me see what this looks like. Will this animate? Nope, can't animate it. All right, we can go look at this on the Mimic though. Hey, thanks out there, Rage. Yeah, one of these days I'll make some shirts and hats. I know a lot of people are wanting me to do it. It's really just a time thing. So let's see if I can get over to that area. Get over here into the Indian Ocean. At one time we had 5 tropical developments at the same time. There's no way, man. Look, they blew that one apart. Look, there's a beam coming straight down for the United Arab Emirates, zapping this storm. That's not a stitching error. That's coming straight from Dubai. That one beam. Wonder if I can stop it on the beam. So right here it had the eye wall. Man, that's a quick beam. Here comes the beam for the Arab Emirates. See if there's 2 beams. I know I've seen one real tight beam. That must have been it. That one little quick beam right there. The little shot hit that storm. Man, that thing's really twisting up right there. It's like a giant tornado. They're probably not going to show me the size of the storm. Whenever they're small, whenever these storms are smaller than a normal typhoon or hurricane, they don't give me the radius to the wind field. And they're not going to. They're not going to give me the radius of the wind field. Let's see if this probably won't tell me. Tropical cyclone Belina. 33-foot wave heights. Gotta have that number in there. Yep, not gonna tell me that. Look, it's real little, man. That thing is so little. The wind field must be under 100 miles. That's why they're not showing us. Because it's not a normal size storm, man. It's going to go right into Madagascar. No doubt about it. It actually looks like they changed the tracks on this storm where they hit it. They hit that storm. They stopped that storm because both these storms were going to hit at the very same time. Is there any probably no aircraft recon out there? I do want to look at Alaska real quick. Just kind of see what they're conjuring up here. You know, they're still going to get tons of snow. You know, I think they're still looking at 90 to 120 inches of snow up in the BC area. That's coming here in like a week or two. We'll get into all that tomorrow on the 16-day forecast. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and call this a show. I'm getting super tired. And we've gone for 82 minutes, so that's pretty long. Anyway, guys, much love. Thanks for coming and joining us. Thanks out there, Super Chat. I missed somebody again, I think. I don't have my, oh, there it is. So where's it show? All right, so thanks, Rage Against Rusty Cage, Chet, Victor, Sandy, 3MM, Chet, and Nelly. Thanks out there. Thanks for supporting us and helping us. Thanks everybody out there that listens and shares this information. Thanks everybody out there on the other platforms. I can't monitor all these different platforms, but I appreciate everybody that shares this information. I mean, that's all we can do till we get enough people that wants to stand up and do something about it. I mean, we have small cells of people going to these community meetings trying to fight, but I mean, they need some backing. All these activists out here, they need backing. They need people to back them up. Hang signs off the overpasses. Go to the community meetings. I mean, you got to do stuff. You can't just sit back and do nothing. Anyway, guys, much love out there. Here we go. We're going to play a song called Rise. We'll play a couple other songs. I'll jump over on D-Live, give away the treasure chest. I'll try to get all the show links in this video after it's over because I don't even know where it's at because of the YouTube change. Anyway, guys, good night. Have a good weekend. We'll see you tomorrow for the 16-day forecast. And hopefully this scene will change. We'll see. Anyway, guys, much love. Here we go.